Once upon a time, a city girl named Felicity and a city boy named Peter bought an abandoned 1830s farmhouse in New York. And today, Wednesday, April 2nd, our fifth week in the house, we are getting stuff done in the basement, which is a part of the house that we have done a little bit of work in previously, but mostly on the removing boxes side and not on the actually getting it clean side. So there's a couple of quick tasks to get through first, which is doing some work with the dehumidifiers down there and some of the boxes that are already down there. And then we're going to get into the main part, which is starting to clean the basement. And oh my gosh, you guys, this project took on a life of its own, as so many projects do, and it's going to be such a bigger project than I had originally envisioned. But how else do you learn? Hello, friends. I'm trying to make Wednesdays a day that we do something around the house. Now, our original plan to do something was to go outside and start measuring off parts of the yard for planting purposes, but it is pouring down rain. So instead, I'm in the basement. And the plan is to actually unbox the dehumidifiers that have been sitting down here for a few days. So two things occurred to me as I was in the process of unboxing these dehumidifiers. Thing first is that the power cord that I had intended to use to plug in the one in the dirt room is also the power cord that I intended to use with the shopvac later on. So obviously we can't plug both of them into the power cord at the same time. So I'm going to stop the setup of the dehumidifiers here. The owner's manual is actually quite lengthy and has a number of different options on it. So Peter and I are going to have to review and come back to that. The second thing, as I was working in the dirt room, I heard a noise that one does not normally expect to hear in the basement from the corner. I could hear water dripping, and this corner of the foundation, which was supposed to have been fixed, some of you may remember this was leaky last fall, is leaking once more. There's nothing to be done, unfortunately, at the moment about the leak in the basement. We do know where it's coming from. There is a massive failure of the gutters on the porch just at that corner one floor above, and when it rains, all of the water from a whole section of gutters pours right down on the dirt, and of course as it sinks down into the dirt it encounters our basement foundation wall. So the fix is easy, we just need to get somebody out here to fix the gutters. So let's move on to what we can control, which is the next project on today's to-do list. Step 2 is to label the boxes behind me, and then I'm going to move everything I can into this room so that the other room is clear for shop vacuuming. I don't know if it's the smell of the marker, or the squeak it makes, or just the neat and tidy part of my brain, but labeling boxes is so satisfying. And so, with 2 easy wins under my belt, it's time for the main act, which is vacuuming the basement. Now, the basement was supposed to be fully cleaned out by the crew before they left. However, there is a thick layer of dust and bits of rock, etc. around, so it's time to get that cleaned up. I mistakenly thought this was going to take just a few hours. I'd go around with the sucky shop vac and everything up and it would be done. That is not how it turned out. But first, let's start with the before shot so you can appreciate what did go right. So let's do the before shot. Starting under the stairs. And then here along the outside wall. All the bits and pap, including, by the way, a cigarette butt, which I super don't love. And then all the way, I'm going to move that when the time comes because the floor under there is just as dirty as everywhere else. Way down there. All the crap up here. Over in the corner. We'll see how much underneath we can get. Underneath there. I'm going to clean that off when I get there. All the way up. And finishing with the stairs, which are pretty dirty. If I get really brave, I may have a go at these shelves just to clear out. I don't know, is that dust? Dirt? Something else? Unclear. By the way, since you aren't here, let me just share that smell that was coming out of the bathroom sink until they put the P-trap in, I can smell that smell here next to the pipework. I have not smelled that smell down here before. Well, despite the smell, the place still needs to be cleaned, so let's get to it. Beginning to think that this is a much bigger project than I envisioned. I thought, oh, it's vacuuming. It'll take about an hour, maybe hour and a half. Then I start looking around and seeing how all of the walls, not just the shelves, but all of the walls and all of the windowsills and all of the rafters could do with some assistance. And the project just grows. Happily, you can definitely see a difference. So this is the part that I have been working on here. This is the grungy part here that I have not worked on yet. So there is a satisfying after compared to the before. But jeepers cramapples, you guys, this is going to take a lot more time than I had thought. So what actually ended up working the best was using a broom head to sweep things into piles and then use the shop vac to suck up the piles. I think there might be something a little bit in need of maintenance with the shop vac. A lot of those little pebbles you see down there, it didn't end up sucking up altogether. It just would spit them back out. So I actually ended up just scraping them onto a piece of cardboard and chucking them in the dustbin. I also think the key to this room, instead of looking at it as one big room as I was doing initially, is to look at it at these tiny, small sections. And that way you can just sort of focus on a section at a time, because I was feeling really overwhelmed with kind of where to start. But I think doing it section by section will really help sort of narrow the focus. So after cleaning the area under the stairs and the underneath part of the stairs and a little patch around the stairs, I thought the next thing to tackle would be the stairs themselves. This is the back of that yucky rug. If any of you know anything about that company or that rug type, I would be absolutely thrilled to hear it. I am going to be brave, and after I throw this away, I'm going to tackle those shelves. If you watched one of the very early basement walkthrough videos, these shelves had canning jars on them, some empty, some full. The shelves are built directly into the wall, and this was the original exterior wall of the house before they added on the kitchen extension. So before I start doing anything else with the shelves, I wanted to vacuum up the stuff that was there. So every one of the shelves in this section here has a piece of cardboard on the bottom, and I have vacuumed them off enough, I hope, that taking them out isn't going to be disgusting. What I was hoping for was some kind of indication of where these came from, but they all seem to be pretty generic, except for this one. It says very clearly Tot and Teen Shop, and something is cut off at the top, and there's a very faint polka dot print. I will Google this maybe at some point, but if any of you recognize what this pattern is, or more importantly, what decade it might be from, looks like there's cardboard on these shelves as well, but I'm not seeing any kind of recognizable pattern. So I took the bottom cardboard off of here, and then there was another layer that was laying down there and then elbowed up here, and when I pulled it away, there was color on the back side. How about a call for Pabst Blue Ribbon? Any idea what decade this is from, y'all? It's the same one, but it has a left-hand man. So that this one picks up here with the guy with the trumpet, and there's that one picks up there. It cuts off at how about. It's ripped in 3 pieces because it was a little more firmly attached than its predecessor. I think that's it for mystery cardboard. The shelves actually look to be in fairly decent shape. Are they still in need of some cleaning and maintenance? Yes. Are they super disgusting? No. It occurs to me, though, that I didn't give you a before shot of the stairs. So from here down, this is after, but starting with that step there and going up, that's before. So you can see that the debris has been moved to one side as we've been going up and down the stairs, but the stairs are desperately in need of being cleaned. And there's one more shelf over there that I haven't got to yet. The stairs are actually not too bad. I make a couple passes with the shop vac and then I stop and I sweep with the broom handle, and then I make another pass with the shop vac and I go on. What takes more time are these shelves because I'm trying to suck out all of the cobwebs and insulation I can reach in all the nooks and crannies. So the stairs actually are much faster. Does anyone recognize what these are? I've been finding them all over. I'm guessing they're carpet tacks because there was definitely indoor-outdoor carpeting on these stairs. You can see the glue at the edges and little tufts here and there. So is that what these are? Because they are everywhere, and boy howdy, do they mean business. I know it doesn't look like much because it's still dirty, but the before is even dirtier. Peter was actually just down here to see what I've been up to, and you can, I mean, it's really clear, right, where the before and after starts and stops. But I'm feeling really good about this. This took about 3 hours. I'm hoping the rest of the basement goes faster, partly because there's just straight up square footage, right? This one, the stairs were complicated because it had a lot of nooks and crannies. There's the top, there's the bottom, there's the sides, there's all the shelving units. I even did the shelf up here and got up as far as I could on the understairs to get rid of all the cobwebs. It would be lovely, once this is all done, to really mop the heck out of it as well. I feel like several more layers of yuck would come up, but honestly, I'm not sure how moppable this cement floor is. It is cracked in a number of places. There's dirt coming out where the cracks have occurred. This floor, which is newer, would actually be a lot easier to mop because I think it'll be okay. Anyway, that's it for me today. It felt really good to put in a few hours worth of work and to actually feel like progress was made instead of thinking about progress being made. I am disappointed that it wasn't just a 2-hour one and done, but you know, if you're going to do a thing, you're going to do it properly. Because Peter and I are not the come down and vacuum all the time people. So once I'm stuck into something like this, I'm going to keep going until we're done. So expect a few more sessions. I'll try to keep them interesting for you all, and we will eventually have a clean space down here. So thanks so much for watching. I will see you soon in my next video. Bye for now.